Well, hello. This is the last issue of just Exploring Creation with Physical Science, 3rd edition, with Mrs. Wigton, and we are on the second half of the 14th module, and so let's dive right in. Okay, we are. Last time we started, I was just telling you about how we're going to be covering biochemistry and biophysics. Well, they needed, it seems like, to do a little basic overview of organic chemistry before we could talk about biochemistry. And so I was confused why I was talking about the organic chemistry right away on that one. This one starts right into biochemistry. Bio means life, and therefore biochemistry is the chemistry of living things. And we needed to understand the organic chemistry, which is molecular structure and all of those things, before we could look at specific molecules and compounds necessary for life functions. So one comes before the other. All right, we've got some vocabulary. We've got monomer, not misnomer, monomer. So you see the mono means one. It's a single molecule that can react with other molecules to form a large molecule. And then we have polymer, which is a large molecule that is made out of many smaller molecules joined together by covalent bonds. So nice and strong polymers. All right. This one I filled out, but I'm going to show you their professional version of it because it's prettier. All right, so we're on page 505 in the text, table 14.1, and the student notebook is asking, what are the four main classes of biochemical compounds? And give at least one example of each, okay? So our four main classes are carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, the four, and then some examples of carbohydrates are sugars, starches or cellulose. Sugars provide energy to the cells. Starches store energy. Cellulose makes up cell walls of plants. Protein has tissues, enzymes, hormones, and antibodies. Tissues are the main components of muscles. Enzymes speed up biochemical reactions. Hormones regulate life processes. Antibodies defend against infections. Not do a good job for me last week. All right, I am butters today, though. It's all butters. All right, lipids. Some examples of those in humans are fats. They store energy in animals and humans to maintain part of cell membranes. And in plants, they store energy. Oils do. And nucleic acids are DNA and RNA. They look really cool like this. And they store genetic information in cells. And RNA helps cells make proteins. So cool. All right, so here we are. Back to page 422 in the student notebook. We're going to look at photosynthesis versus cellular respiration. I made so many mistakes today. I should have used a erasable pen, but I didn't. All right. So photosynthesis is when plants take energy from sunlight and chemically combine carbon dioxide and water to make carbohydrates, specifically glucose. Green chlorophyll must be present for this to happen. So there's a big but. We got to make sure you've got that there. All right. We're going to look at some more about this in a second. Cellular respiration is when plants break down that glucose and the glucose bonds, and they release the energy that was stored in them. It is a complex series of reactions that they don't go into any further than that in the book. But one thing they do show us, which I think is super cool, is here on page 506 in the text, they've got what exactly happens in photosynthesis. We've got carbon dioxide, water, and light added. And here's the arrow that means photosynthesis happening right here. And it turns it into, this combined together makes glucose. okay, which is a type of sugar, which provides energy and heat. All right, so here we have the glucose, and in this arrow, cellular respiration is happening. So it's breaking it down, and it brings it back apart into carbon dioxide, water, and there's the energy heat out of it. Isn't that cool? So it breaks down. This builds it together. This breaks it down. However, here's a beautiful picture of how they're related. So we have the light energy coming in, and the photosynthesis starting out with these two. We're going to call the things that they start with are the reactants, and they, through, see here, cellular respiration turn into, see here, I'm going to get this right here. I'm going to say it wrong. They take carbon dioxide and water, and through photosynthesis, they turn into carbohydrates and oxygen. That's how that works. So it goes from here through that process and out here. Okay? So the photosynthesis takes these two as our reactants and then turns them into the product. These are the products of photosynthesis. And then these two are the reactants, or the starting place for cellular respiration. And out from there comes the products of carbon dioxide and water vapor. All right? So circle of plant life. Why is it just plants? Why don't we have photosynthesis and cellular respiration? It's because, well, we do have cellular respiration of a different sort, but the photosynthesis can only happen in plants because of the chlorophyll. You've got to have that green chlorophyll to make photosynthesis happen. And so I think we need to have, I need to start a cartoon featuring little green humans that have photosynthesis happen. They have to sit in the sun for much of the day, and I could just go and have so much fun with this. Okay. I will stop there though. All right. For now, we'll revisit that some other time, maybe when I have grandkids. All right. What are enzymes and vitamins? All right. Enzymes are protein catalysts. And I think of a catalyst, I think of a dad in the pool launching his child into the air, and just that is the catalyst there. It's just throwing his kid into the air, and they splash down into the water. All right, some enzyme examples are, and what they do is they speed up cellular reactions. They're important for cellular respiration, and they break down and digest food. So enzymes are super important. They're naturally already in our bodies. Vitamins, however, are organic compounds that organisms need but cannot make themselves. So we've got to eat our vitamin B and our D and our A and our C. And for vitamin B, for instance, we find them in eggs and dairy and meat. It forms enzymes for cellular respiration, which I told you all cells do and need to breathe. And vitamin C you can find in citrus foods. They are needed by enzymes, I'm going to zoom in here, that make skin and also helps growth of all body tissues. So vitamin C is important. Never think about how important it is for skin. I always think about it for sickness. So anyways, I'm always learning here. All right. What happens to sunlight during photosynthesis? Well, there's the sun, and it gets converted into chemical energy that's stored in the bonds of glucose. All right, I kept thinking it was going to keep going on and on, more happening here, but no, the sunlight turns into chemical energy stored in the bonds of glucose molecules. All right, page 424. Describe the relationship between photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Well, the products of the one are the reactants of the other, and vice versa. All right, if you're Italian, it's vice versa, right? No, we don't. Okay, we're just, we're in Oregon right now, and there's no Italian in me. Let's see here. Amino acids are the monomers of proteins. What would happen to the reactions in a person's body if they did not have enough of the essential amino acids? they are the monomers of proteins. So we need our proteins, and therefore the body would not be able to produce the enzymes needed for cellular reactions. Super important. So we've got to have those amino acids. All right, we're already on day 4. All right, so we're diving into biophysics now. And what are some examples the text gives of biophysics in your life? Well, a long time ago, we looked at bats and their echolocation to find food, which is sound waves bouncing off of things as they fly, so that they can see where things are without seeing. And, you know, it's dark and their eyes are bad. Why do you gotta give them such amazing ears, but their eyesight's not that great? But maybe it's just because it's dark. I don't know. But they always say that blind as a bat, right? I don't know. Okay, optical lenses correcting vision problems. Remember how the angle of the light coming into the eye, or that's the thing that you're focusing on, center of focus, you know, it goes through your retina and through your, I'm going to not go into details here, but it goes through the eyeball and hits that, I believe, the retina in the back of the eye. All right. Walking, driving, cell phones, all examples of biophysics in your life. This hits home. We use biophysics, people. How do swings work? Well, when you, this is biophysics, when you either get pushed on a swing or you push yourself, you are overcoming the friction of gravity and just sitting there and just kind of being like not moving. And so you got the movement going, and then you've got potential energy and kinetic energy, and you're going back and forth between them. So as you go up, you get that highest point, you're at the max potential energy spot, and then the kinetic energy happens when you fall back down. And then it happens over and over and over again. Potential energy. So the kinetic energy happens every time you come back down. All right, centripetal force. That's a fun word to say super fast. Centripetal force is a center-seeking force. And unfortunately, the text does not go any deeper than that. But it does use a fun reminder or an example of when it is used, which is you go to a amusement park and they have those barf and rides where they spin you around, and the inertia of it pushes you up against the side of the thing. My husband has a wonderful story about doing this in high school with a bunch of friends and then having to find a trash can afterwards to barf in. So yeah, I don't do so well on them either. But I will tell you that pilots who have motion sickness make the best pilots because they are really sensitive to that, and they don't want to make everybody feel sick to their stomachs. So my husband's an amazing pilot. All right. How does the shape of an airplane's wing help to fly an airplane? All right. This is the grossest picture you're going to see all day, I hope. This is figure 1416 in the text, page 511, and they have chopped off the wing of the seagull. I repeat, they have chopped it off. It is hanging down here, and this is blood dripping down onto the airplane. This giant seagull has been maimed. No, I'm just kidding. But it's still super grody. But the point is actually that this shape that they've mimicked in the airplane is like that to actually speed up the air that has to travel over. It has to travel faster to get over that giant hump. It's not giant, but to get over that, it has to go faster, and that speed causes an extra, because actually the lift is happening because it's going slower, the air is going slower down here, and so the pressure this way is less than the pressure going up. So we have what we call lift. So I'm going to show you what I wrote down for this so that my ramblings make sense. How does it help? Curved shape causes fluids like gases in the air to move faster over the wings. Therefore, we have lift. What is lift? Well, I'm glad you asked. When the pressure exerted downwards on the wings from the slower moving air because of the curve on top is less than the pressure exerted up from below. So the arrow going down is smaller than the arrow going up. See it? Sorry to have to show you that again. Okay. What does Bernoulli's principle state? This is cool. The pressure of a moving fluid, or gases in the air, decreases if the fluid moves faster. So, isn't that cool? The pressure of a moving fluid decreases if the fluid moves faster. That is Bernoulli's principle. All right, so the faster an airplane moves, the more lift there is. When the force of lift is greater than the force of gravity, the airplane is able to fly. Very simple explanation. There's a lot more to it, including some of Newton's laws, it says. But this is physics, and super cool. All right, that's transportation and physics. And this one, you're going to blow, I've read about it, you blow on a... like a funnel on the skinny end, and you put like a ping pong ball inside and blow, and it works, and then you flip it around and you blow on the wide side, and it doesn't work as much. And that evidently somehow illustrates Bernoulli's principle. I'll let you tackle that on your own. All right. Physics and forensics. These are just like the tiniest little boxes. But I think these are the coolest things you're going to hear about all day. What examples of physics does the text say forensic scientists use in their job? Get this. So, a car accident skid marks can help determine speed before hitting the brakes. Like, meaning like, how fast was that car going before they hit the brakes? That speed might help to decide whether they were guilty or not. Whether they were the ones at fault for the accident, whatever. Ballistics is when they look at explosives and guns and stuff like that. And in forensics, they can determine the trajectory using biophysics of a bullet or an exploding device. Like, why did that shrapnel hit you when you were way over there? You said you're over here. Why did it hit you? I'm just kidding. I secretly want to be a lawyer, I think. All right, what examples of physics does the text say biophysicists use to help people? Ooh, I like this too. This is just so much. MRIs make 3D images of tissues. CT scans, or computer tomography scans, make tons of X-ray cross-sectional images or slices, and then they recreate the 3D image of the whole body. Isn't that cool? They use radiation for cancer, kidney dialysis for kidney disease, cardiac defibrillators, pacemakers. Oh my! Actually, I wanted to just like briefly look at this. In the text, page 514, they just go on and on and on. Computer models called neural networks help biophysicists model how brain and nervous systems work. We got better prosthetic limbs because of biophysics. I'm sharing this with you because I think it's really cool to know a little bit more what's out there for jobs in the world. What if your dad or mom is not a biophysicist? Maybe you want to be one. They can help us understand our environment. Scientists who work in environmental biophysics research and collect data on all aspects of our planet, from microscopic organisms that live in deep ocean vents to pollutants in the stratosphere. And they're even trying to find ways to convert algae into renewable fuel source called biofuel. I know that there's, I met a biophysicist once who was on an airplane, so cool, and his job was to, he was probably more a biochemist, but I don't know. He was creating chip bags that were biodegradable. This is like 20 years ago, before we had such a thing. and he was helping design those. Now they kind of exist. They're not great, but they're they're in process. So neat. All right, last on your own question. 2 ping pong balls are suspended from strings. They hang at the same height with a small space between them. When an air dryer is used to blow air between the 2 balls, the balls come together and touch. Why does this happen? Well, it's Bernoulli's principle. The air between them has lower pressure than the surrounding air. Is what the answer says. And you're just going to have to, I'm going to have to do this one. I'm just going to have to find me some ping pong balls and blow dryer, because I don't even, it's like, what? This is blowing my mind. So I think we have finished, my friends. And so I just want to thank you so much for joining me on this learning adventure. It has been real, and I've learned a lot. And I think there's a Maisie that wants to say goodbye too. Do you want to say goodbye, Maisie? Who, me? Me? Who? Hi. Say goodbye. Say bye, everybody. Take care. Thanks for joining us, and blessings. Bye-bye.